added to the Pac-12, WSU is still yet to win a game in Utah or Colorado. Besides the altitude and obviously the environments, what else makes this such a tough trip?
Well, the last few years has been talent. There's just been a better basketball team than us. Although, if I look back to last year, we played both of them extremely tough. I thought we were in position to win at Utah for sure, and had an opportunity at Colorado. So we've had some games that have been close there, but not been able to get over the hump.
You think it was good to start off in LA with your young group and to have them experience the road trip right off the bat in the Pac-12? Do you think that helps? Yeah.
I would say no. I mean, I think any time with a young team, you want to start out at home. You start out on the road because, again, now it's a confidence thing. You got to get them built back up and all those things. You come home and stumble too. Luckily, we feel like we've gotten back on track a little bit with the Cal win. Feel like it's the first time we've felt as good as we felt since Anaheim in terms of our play when you look at a tape. And I think there's some things that we're doing defensively that are enabling us to play a little bit tougher at that end of the floor as well too. So to start out on the road was not a good thing for us, particularly when you don't get those two teams back at your place. You only played SC and UCLA once this year. That makes it very difficult then to start on the road at their place.
And then going back and looking at the film on California, how did you what did you see from your defense in that day?
Well, the biggest thing is I saw a continuation of our effort that we had in the Stanford game and the Washington game defensively, where we did a lot of good things to limit some scoring opportunities. Stanford had two great post guys that we limited, and then we go into the California game, we felt like we neutralized the post as well too. Where we have to get better at is neutralizing guards, because guards cannot have career nights on you. UCLA Holiday career nights, Pickens career nights. That's not good for us. So I think that's an area we got to get better at. The thing in the Cal game that I really liked was the fact that we started to share the ball again. We started to find the right play, make the right play, see the play, make it, share it, shoot it, and those are all encouraging things.
I guess regardless of the talent at Colorado and Utah, do you think that is the toughest general trip to make in the Pac-12?
It is because of the travel, the altitude, the length of time that you have to sit there. You know, when you talk about a Thursday, Sunday game and sitting there, that second game always gets you. I don't care in what order that you play, it's going to bother you. And that's the way it is. We went in there one year and played fast one game and slow the other game and had a lot of success. And it might be something I look at. I'll see how that goes, just see where our legs are and all those things. So it is what it is. You just got to play the games. And they've had, all you got to do is look at their record. They've had tremendous success there. And a lot of it does have to do, obviously, with the altitude and spreading those games out.
Is there any way to simulate the altitude the week before a game, whether it's something you do conditioning-wise, or do you just kind of hope for the best once you get there?
Well, we're conditioning now for high altitude. We're going to condition in the high altitude for UW. So we're going to use them all as positives as we get through the halfway point of this first part of the season, I should say, first part of conference season.
You said you might kind of change the pace of the game. Is it the case of maybe trying to go slower the first game so you have the legs the second game, or vice versa?
No, I think for us, we're an attacking team, and we're going to attack and play the way we need to play. And I'll see how we are when we go into game number 2. But against CU, we're a team that wants to push pace. We're going to do that. We're going to defend. We're going to get out and run. We have to play that way for us to have an opportunity to win.
I know they're a different team than last year, but do you go back to the conference tournament game against them and then look at the film of that game and see how you guys can kind of improve there?
Yes and no, because they're different and we're different. I mean, without having Josh and Connor on the floor, they were a load for CU to handle. Malachi had hit the wall and did not play well at all in that game. Charles Callison had an amazing game in that, and he had an opportunity where you were up big, and I believe in that game there were 9 straight calls in a row that went against us, maybe even 11 straight in a row that went against us at one point in time, and that's hard to overcome. So you don't need to look at it again. Obviously, I've got it etched in my mind from when we lost the game, having looked at it last spring and talked about that in terms of how does a game change like that in terms of an officiating thing, and had to really take a look at it and hone in on what we did, and sure enough, we were fouling. The second piece of that is we're a different team and they're a different team. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They got off to a tough start last year, came on strong. We've gotten off to a tough start now, and hopefully we can come on strong.
Obviously, both of those teams could kind of lose some big players, Utah with Kuzma and Colorado with, I think Gordon. Who are some of the emerging guys that are kind of leading both of those teams that you guys feel like you kind of need to stop?
Well, King and McIntyre, I would say, are the key guys for Colorado. I mean, they've got a really good backcourt, and Gillette for Utah. I mean, they're just going to be loads. And King is a veteran player that has been through the league and everything else, and he shoots it and is shooting it extremely well. Did I pronounce his name right? Just checking with you, Jessica.
Coach, does it change up your coaching
McKinley, right?
when you have two teams that are playing 10-man rotations that are kind of deep on the roster? They're able to bring in a lot of guys off the bench.
No, we've got a deep team. I mean, if we need to go 9 and 10 deep, we can do that. We got to the second half of the California game, and I felt like we had a group on the floor that was playing really well. And I kept that group out there because we needed some continuity, some rhythm to what we were doing offensively and defensively. And I really thought big picture for what's coming down the road, but I don't have any problem going to our bench. So we have the numbers to rotate guys in and out of the games.
One of those guys, Arenze, his minutes have kind of been fluctuating the past couple of weeks. Had a good couple performances in LA, and then just 4 minutes combined the last 3 games. What is his defined role, and how are you? Is it step-by-step, game-by-game?
You got to keep in mind that Arenze played really well when we were in Anaheim in a limited position as in terms on the top of the press. All he needed to do is handle that. As you get into preseason play and the better teams, and particularly when you get into conference play where teams are going to sit on you, you've got to understand what's going on. And he's typically basically a first-year player, very similar to Milan and Quentin Hensey and Carter Skaggs. And now it becomes to who limits you in terms of who breaks down the most on the floor. And that's where he struggles at right now. We've talked to him quite a bit. He needs to limit mistakes, limit breaking us down at both ends of the floor. When he can do that, he gets a chance to play. And these games are so tough. 1 or 2 key mistakes can swing the whole game the other way.
And then is it bulletin board material at all that you guys haven't won a game out there? Is that something you told them?
No, it's not. I mean, Washington State has struggled to win on the road down at UCLA. And I felt like with Drick in the game, we would have been a much better basketball team playing against them. We struggled to beat the Arizonas of the world. So it's none of his bulletin board to me because I've only been here this is my 4th season. And we're trying to build Washington State to something. So I can't go back and worry about what happened way back here. We're looking at where we're going today. We got a good basketball team. We were in the Kansas State game. We were in the Washington game to win it. We're right there to win the UCLA game. We're right there to win the Stanford game. We got the Cal game done. We can play with any team in this conference if we're focused in for 40 minutes. And that's the biggest thing for me right now with this group, to go positive with them, not to worry about what's happened in the past.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Coach.
Coach.